This is Between the Lines. Today, we dissect the road less traveled.
Hello, we are again with another episode of The Road Less Traveled, and now we are in chapter 19, which is dependency. And dependency is, remember that we've been talking about the myths of love and what real love is and isn't. And being dependent on other person is not love. So let's just make it clear. And the doctor mentions here, it is rather interesting because he has several patients he names in different occasions, different situations, different patients, and they sometimes say, I cannot live without the other person that has left me or with the other person that's about to leave me and that kind of thing. And the doctor says, but that's not love then. And generally their patients go mad and they go angry and they say, no, but I really love them and I can't live without them or with the other person. And the doctor goes on saying, that is not actual love, that's parasitism or parasitism, however you pronounce that. So yes, you become like a parasite on the other individual because your survival depends on the other person. So that is not real love. And love, again, is about choice, it's about freedom, it's about this ability for the other person to decide to love us or to not love us. So it's actually a freedom. And if two people are together, it's because they decide to be together at the same time. They want to be together. You may have heard this expression that we have in Spanish, which is media naranja. In English, I think it's better half. Better half. So we have this idea that the other person is our half, we are attached to them, but actually we are two different fruits. And so real love is about growing, expanding, as we said in previous chapters, your boundaries and becoming greater than yourself. We are just instead of summing one and one, you sum one and one. It's not two, but it's like three. It's something bigger. And the doctor also mentions people who have or goes to the have this disorder, which is dependency on the extreme of things, which is called I have it somewhere here, passive dependent personality disorder, which is when somebody is fully attached to the other. It could be a parent, it could be a partner, it could be anyone as an adult, because when they are children they haven't have all the love they needed. So this lack of love generates that people have this disorder and they just want love and want love but for themselves, so they cannot give anything back or anything in return. They're just like a black hole of love, of craving love and always taking and taking and taking and never giving something in return. And here the doctor mentions a really interesting case. He mentions several. In this chapter, it's quite long. He mentions, for example, one case where one of his patients went to a session fully desperate, totally desperate, because he had been abandoned by his wife and she had also taken their children. And this person said, I can't live without them. And so the doctor says, okay, well, what are you going to do? Because he told the story of the family. He said, my wife has tried to leave before and I didn't let her, and I promised I would change, but I didn't. So he realized he had done nothing for the relationship, And even for his children, he didn't care about his children, but he wanted to have this family because his identity was, I'm the husband. But just that, without effort at all. And remember, we have been saying that love requires effort from our sides. And this person was really, really feeling bad and everything. So the doctor gave him some ideas on how to go on for the next session. And he came and he was saying that he couldn't live without them. He tried maybe extreme measures, to take extreme measures. So the doctor said, okay, come by please tomorrow because we have to deal with this and that. And when the patient came back the next day, he said, oh, I'm cured now, everything's fine, I feel like a person again, like a human being, because I have found last night at the pub another woman. She had also been separated from his husband, and that's it. We are going to be together, and that's perfectly fine. And he never went back again into another session. And so this is the type of people that we are talking about, that they are passive dependents. And this is, of course, a psychiatric disorder. And one thing to take from this was this: he didn't want to do anything in order to have this relationship with his children, with his wife. He just wanted to have someone beside him. The doctor also goes to mention about other patients, men, women, it doesn't matter. They had this kind of issues, and they just wanted to be with another one. They didn't want to do all the things that we really need in order for the relationship to flourish or to grow, right? And so they wanted to be without effortlessly on a relationship. They were also attached to the relationship like a parasite. And the other thing is that in the case of this man and several other patients he mentions, they, for example, they would quarrel or be separated from their partners, and the next day they will have another one and another one, and that was the cycle. So they weren't also capable of delaying gratification in order to sit with the pain of being away from their loved ones, between quotes, because we know that was really not love. But they weren't able to do that. And remember this, if you've been following this series, this might sound to you like discipline, because discipline requires effort, requires delaying gratification, requires to work on the relationship, right? So as you know, we have been talking about so many things before, but now they are like sitting here and helping us understand why love is discipline. It's part of discipline also. So these people are like, another thing is like they are addicts to love. And sometimes this addiction that they have to be with another one, parasiting them, or being all the time with someone else, as part of their identity. As I said, that they found someone because they haven't found anyone before, and now that they have found somebody that pays attention to them, they want to cling to them, they want to have them forever and never let them go. So that is what starts to destroy and to diminish the relationship. And so they are addicts. And sometimes they are, in this case, we are talking about love, they are addicts to love. But sometimes they could go to another addictions. Maybe if they can't have love, they can go to other types of addiction. I'm not saying that they are worse addictions. I didn't compare them. They are just addictions. And because I don't know if I should compare them or not. So yeah, but they have an addictive personality. That is what we can say. A question that I had while reading the book was, so where we have talked about all this, and where does this passive dependency come from? And you may have already guessed that it comes from a lack of love during childhood. And yes, this lack of love that they have had during childhood, when they try to do different things in order to gain attention from other people, and they crave for it, and when they finally find somebody that understands them or seems to love them somehow, again they cling to that person, and they start like sucking up that person. It's like they're parasiting the other person, doing nothing in return, giving nothing to the other person, just getting things from them. Even though sometimes they do, that's not real love, of course. They do not love the other person, just need them. So that necessity is not love, as we said before. So the doctor actually says that is anti-love. And they have a lot of expectation from the other person, so they want the other person to be there for them, to care for them, to make them happy. Basically, if they don't make me happy, then I don't know what to do. But it's not the other person responsibility. Remember, we are not half better halves, but we are two complete persons, or we should be two complete persons, wanted by choice to be together. And this is not the case. The other one is just like a parasite on you, or you may be the parasite on the other individual, right? So what is also the difference, another thing that I thought about while I was reading, so what's the difference between a healthy couple? How should I know? I know if I'm in this kind of relationship that is unhealthy, but how can I know if I'm in a healthy relationship? And one of the things the doctor mentions that is totally new from the other things we've been talking about, discipline and that kind of thing, he mentions that sometimes people, of course, he mentions marriages, because remember in this time it was the norm. Everybody as a couple would be married in a marriage. So he said that sometimes husband and wife would change roles, or change the responsibility of chores. For example, the wife could tend or take the children to school, or go to do the groceries, and sometimes they would switch those roles. So the husband would go and the wife would do another thing, I don't know, take care of the house or pay the bills or whatever it is. And he mentions this is something nice, even if they do it unconsciously, it's like some kind of training for each individual to be able to take care of the other people's role or chores or things, tasks they do. So in case some of them is missing, is sick, or whatever happens, they can complete the things that they need to for running the house, right, or running their lives. And he also mentions cases where patients would have, for example, the wife didn't drive, so she said, I can't drive, so my husband has to take me everywhere, and I cannot go on my own. I cannot drive, so I cannot take the car, and I don't know, I won't take the bus, those kind of things. And the husband was feeling secure because he said, oh, I can know where she's going all the time because I'm the one taking her in my car if she has to meet with somebody, so I know where she is, and I know she won't have an affair because I will be present. And on the other side, the wife, knowing where was his husband, her husband, and those kind of things. So it feels, he says, secure, like a secure relationship, that's not healthy either. So even though I say I would talk about healthy, I talk about unhealthy. So a healthy couple is the one that will do these kind of things, like switch roles in order to get freedom individually, to know what there are the tasks that they have to do in general in the home or with their children, and those kind of things. So it's part of discipline. And what else? So yes, these kind of things, like being able to grow as an individual, even though you are in a couple, that's part of a healthy relationship. Because we are talking about couples, but that is in any other context with relationships. You are just one individual, and you should grow as an individual as you also are working and putting effort in your relationship with the other person. Not being a parasite, right? So, okay, I think that is all in this chapter. I thought it would take a bit longer because this is quite a long chapter, but I think I tried to do it the most condensed as I could. And if you can, as always, please read it because it's really nice. It has a lot of examples and many things the doctor he adds and everything. And it's really easy to read, and it's to follow. And while I was reading this about parasitism, I remember about a song which is called Love Parasite from Kovacs. So I will leave the link in the comments. So if you want, you can listen to it. So that's it, and see you next Sunday. Bye bye. Have a great week.
Stay tuned for Ulua's next episode.